Okay guys, so tip number 1 is nail the basics. Now, many players neglect the basics early on, and the problem with that is long term, it's very hard to have shot efficiency and consistency. You can break down very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to make sure you've got these fundamentals right before moving on to more complex shots.
Let's just take a look at the forehand drive. So the forehand drive is the building block to a forehand topspin. Now, many players do the forehand topspin but can't do this well. And this is so key. Getting the right touch, movement. This helps timing as well.
And you can see here we've got short and efficient shots. The consistency's high, and we're not going too fast. We're playing at a slow and controlled speed. Now, if we move across to the backhand, the same on the backhand. Short, efficient. The ball placement is good.
Exactly that, Tom.
And the rally doesn't break down.
That's it. And like what we're trying to highlight here is that develop the basics. Spend a lot of time on the basics. The reason why Chinese players, for example, in China and Asia, they spend hours. Tom, you've been in China. They spend hours just knocking the ball on the table, consistency, getting the reps up. They don't drop off and play the big swinging stuff and just try and hit the ball 100 miles per hour. We don't want to do that. We want to nail the basics and get them solid.
Yeah, so that is our first key tip to improvement, is go back to basics and get these fundamental strokes right and really nail them down. So tip number 2 is feeling the ball. Now, we want to develop this nice soft touch and light feeling as we contact the ball. Without this, it's very hard to have control and consistency. So we want to have this feeling the ball, light touch, and good brushing action as we contact the shot.
All right, so a lot of players tend to hit the ball far too thick and hard. So to develop this ball feeling, a real nice drill is dropping the ball on the floor and then brushing the ball over onto the table. This is going to force you to get that arc in the ball and then that spin. So drop the ball on the floor and brush over. You see I'm getting that light brush there and getting that contact.
As you can see, Dan wouldn't be able to hit the ball over if he didn't brush the ball with that nice feeling. If you hit it flat or hard, the ball's going to go long. So it does develop that soft touch and control.
Yeah. So Tom, should we take a look at a really good drill we have on the Academy, the 30-60-90 drill, which helps really develop your different variations of spin and understand that contact.
Yeah, so it's a really good drill. So going to keep it really simple. I'm going to backhand block. Dan's going to play one forehand, 30% speed, one at 60% speed, and one at 90% speed, and then again back down to 30. So let's
I
have
love
a look.
this one.
So 30, 60, 90, 30, 60, 90, 30, 60, 90. So there, really good way of developing, feeling the ball, not going one hard, firm speed. You're actually learning to control the tempo and the way you contact the shot.
Yeah, so many players just play at one tempo, and that's really difficult to develop the feeling and touch. Variation is absolutely key in your shots.
This is a fantastic drill because being able to control the speed of your shots means you develop that touch and feeling on the ball and adds a lot of control.
Okay, tip number 3 is developing weight transfer of your technique. A lot of players avoid this. They end up using a lot of the arm when they're playing and they're quite stiff upper body. Now, practice using the legs and hips, trunk and rotation as you play shots. So if we take a look at the forehand topspin, I've got a good bend in the knees and I'm putting my weight into my right hand side as a right-hander. My weight goes to my right leg, hips turn, and then the weight goes into the left leg. So the energy comes from the ground up, and then my arm is relaxed into the ball. And that's really important, developing that in your shots. Same with the backhand, turn with the hips, and then play into the shot. Then the arm comes in. Rather than the arm on its own statically, it's very difficult. So using the body, it's gonna give you that energy. Let's use the forehand topspin as an example without any weight transfer, and let's see what happens to the shot quality. So, no weight transfer, just the arm on its own. It's actually quite hard to move the feet as well. This is very tiring just using the arm. Now, let's do the shot where I use my legs and body and shoulders going into the ball, and let's see the difference. I'm looking to get power from the ground up and then the arm staying nice and relaxed. So turn the body and hips, and now it's nice and effortless, and I can get that feeling on the ball as well. Yeah, so you can see the legs is driving into the ball, and that's where you can really get a lot of power and acceleration long term. So developing weight transfer is key to have nice, effortless, consistent shots.
So tip number 4 is footwork. Now, a lot of players may think that they miss due to having poor technique and it breaking down. However, quite often it can be because they're not getting into position with the feet. So they're reaching outside the body, or they're simply too far away from the ball to play a quality shot. So footwork is key. So let's have a look at a quick, simple footwork drill of 2 backhands, 2 forehands, and I'm going to try and move efficiently. So as you can see, I'm nice and low. I'm on the balls of my feet. I'm light on my feet as well. You don't hear any loud stomping on the ground. My weight's forward, and it's allowing me to get close to each shot and not get caught out of position.
Tip 5, guys, is timing point. Now, a real common error in table tennis is players playing their shots at all different timing points. It means you can break down really quickly. You're not training your shot at the same timing point, which helps you be consistent.
Exactly right, Dan. Now, the optimum timing point is, of course, at the top of the bounce, so the highest point, and that gives us the most safety over the net and allows us to hit the ball in front of the body. A lot of the time, players are hitting the ball level with the body or even behind, and it makes it very difficult to get control. So we're looking for top of the bounce and in front of the body.
Okay, Tom, so I'm gonna do one quick exercise. Backhand, forehand middle, backhand, forehand wide, all at the highest point with my shots. So here, top of the bounce, taking the ball in front of my body. Now I can be nice and consistent. If I take the ball late, now we can break down from here.
See how quickly the rally deteriorated there.
Yeah.
When Dan was maintaining that same timing point and the same rhythm without speeding up, which is key, it's keeping the same timing, same rhythm, the rally stayed nice and solid and consistent. As soon as the timing point changes, it becomes too quick or too late, like Dan demoed, the rally breaks down and consistency goes straight downhill. Tip number 6 is practice under pressure. Now, we all know we have to practice to improve, but practicing under pressure will help you transfer your skills in training into match play. So, for example, setting yourself little goals like 20 serves in a row without a mistake, and then you've got that pressure to try and reach a certain target.
For sure, Tom. Now, a lot of players say, oh, I play so well in practice, but I can't transfer that into a match.
Exactly.
One of the biggest reasons for that is not practicing in a high competitive environment. So you've got to, when you're practicing with friends, you've got to put some targets on it. Maybe you play a lot of juice matches, or play lots of local league, play lots of tournaments. You got up the competitive environment, and then that's going to help you really improve your game. If you just practice always in a calm environment, it's very hard to bring that into a competitive environment like a match.
Exactly right. Also, plenty of irregular training drills. It's all very nice playing regular drills where you know where the ball's coming, but irregular practices where you're not sure about the ball placement really helps you transfer those skills, puts a bit more pressure and decision making on you to take forward into your games.
Now, Tom, a good exercise that a lot of pros do, and even just from all abilities, is one side doing a backhand block and then blocking anywhere on the table. That randomness is so good for developing those strokes. You're not sure where the ball's going, and it improves decision making.
So practice under pressure.
So tip number 7 is video analysis and feedback. Now, watching yourself play is a fantastic way to improve at table tennis. It's quite underrated. Tom here, he's got a recent match in the Swedish league and he's analysing himself. He's seeing if he's attacking first, looking at the mistakes he's making. Also, you can record yourself in training, analyse your technique, learn from the mistakes. It really is a great way. I mean, a lot of people don't like recording themselves or seeing themselves on camera for the first time, but it's such a good way to improve. You can just see exactly where you're going wrong, but also where you're going right, so you can get a lot of confidence from it.
Tip 8 is have a game plan. As you go into matches, it's important that you play to your own strengths and obviously try and avoid your weaknesses. So having a game plan gives you a good tactical understanding of what you want to try and do and not do in your games.
It sure does, Tom. It's almost like having a philosophy, how you go about your structuring the points.
Exactly.
I recently played a league match and one of my teammates was playing so well with his attacks, right? But all his shots was going straight to the opponent's bat. And I said, hey, look, find the crossover, find the elbow. And thinking about this while you're playing is so important. So the more you think about your game plan, the more you can bring the right tactics to the table.
Exactly. So it's really important to know your own strengths, know how to get them in play in matches, and don't just simply go into a match blind without thinking or without having some sort of formula to win your points.
So tip 9, guys, is have a weapon. Now, for me, it's to try and get my forehand in, especially on the 5th ball, and play strong and hard.
Yeah, now by having a weapon, what we mean is having a unique area of your game that is a strength to you personally.
Yeah.
So as Dan said, for him, it's his strong forehand. It could be your backhand block is really good. It could be your service game is really strong. But if your game is very evenly all-round balanced, that's fine. But what we want to really emphasize is have something that's unique and strong to you. And whatever area of that game it is, you want to work on it and pinpoint it as your unique weapon.
You're right there, Tom. Now, there are some players out there who are very neutral among all the shots, so nothing really stands out, so they're very solid. But having something that is awkward almost, or
something different.
Yeah, that makes it very tough against the opponent. Also, it can work very well in the tight points of the game, juice in the 5th. If you can try and look to get your weapon in, the opponent can be under a lot of pressure and under a lot of threat.
Definitely. And if you feel you don't really have a weapon or something unique to your game, there's no reason why you can't develop this. Serve practice is one easy thing you can do. You can do it on your own, and you can really develop unique and dangerous serves. You can also work on other areas of your game, so there's no reason you can't develop this and build it into your game. Finally, tip number 10, and that is have fun and enjoy it. There's no point going to practice and trying to improve if you're not enjoying it. So it is important, after all, that you're going there and having fun and enjoying yourself, and that will in turn help you improve.
For sure. And then I think also by having fun, it also means don't take things too seriously where you end up worrying or getting discouraged that you're not improving. Having fun and really enjoying the moments will make you improve quickly, because as Tom says, you enjoy it, then what happens is you're practicing, you start relaxing up more, and then you really find your way in the game.
This serve is called the kicker. It gets its name from the action that it creates on the table. So when it hits your opponent's side, it tends to kick upwards and forwards. To try and create the kicker serve, we're trying to hit the top of our racket, and when it makes contact, we're looking to use the wrist to flick the ball up to create that extra spin, and that's what creates that kick on your opponent's side. So to execute the serve, we're going to turn slightly side on, so we're hitting more of the back of the ball. As we throw the ball up, it's on its way down. Our bat is coming from behind me, and I'm looking to contact the top part of my bat. My wrist is slightly down, so that on the point of contact, my wrist can flick the ball up there, and hopefully you can see that ball turning. Yes, I'm brushing the ball up as well as using my wrist. Once I've done that, then my racket's finishing slightly below the ball. So the serve is effective because it creates an exaggerated effect to a topspin serve. A topspin serve would move forward. The kick serve is going to jump forward at a slightly different pace and a slightly different speed and a slightly different height, so you can induce some errors. You might find that people can see that it's topspin, but they tend to misread the amount, and you might find that they hit the top edge, or if you can get enough spin, sometimes the ball will jump over the top of their bat. Okay, so serving fast down the line, a really effective serve, especially when it's mixed in with a variety of other serves. So if I'm serving 5 or 6 times short in a match, I might be thinking now's a great time to add in my long fast serve down the line as a bit of a surprise element. Okay, how I'm going to create the long fast serve then. When I'm serving short, I'm trying to keep everything facing sideways. Okay, so I'm turned to the side, my shoulders are facing over here, and I'm looking to contact underneath for my backspin serve or around the side for my side spin serve. And I'm looking to keep the same shape for my long fast serve. So I'm throwing the ball up, and then it's right at the last minute when I'm making that change and that bat is opening up slightly, and then I'm trying to execute the fast serve. What I don't want to happen is these shoulders to turn too early and for me to telegraph to my opponent the long fast serve. So really effective serve to use, especially when you're preparing for your serve. You might be preparing for a short serve. You've thrown the ball up. You've seen your opponent out the corner of your eye just turn on the corner. Great opportunity then to execute that long fast serve down the line. Sometimes you might even find that you ace people when you've delivered it in that way.
Do you know top 10 countries for freelancers according to CNBC? I'll tell you.
So this serve is the really wide side spin serve off the side of the table. If you're able to get the ball that wide, often players have not been in that position before and they don't quite have an answer for what's happening. You also, by serving and exploiting that wider angle, make other serves more effective when you're serving into different areas of the table as well. Okay, so serving wide off the side can really start to extend your opponent's movement. Okay, so to get the ball really wide, what I'm looking to do is play with not only side spin, but quite a bit of backspin as well, because that's what's going to create that kick wide and sometimes even back slightly towards me. So my bat's quite flat. I'm looking from this flat position and just to add in a small tilt. I'm looking to contact the front part of the racket. And my first bounce, I'm looking to get quite close to the net. If you can do all those things correctly, then we should be able to get that wide, short, wide serve. So again, a really effective serve because this place on the table and in the court is sometimes quite alien to your opponents. They've not been there before. Worth bearing in mind that when you're creating such a severe angle, you may well get that severe angle back at you as well. So when you're preparing to do the serve, you might want to recover a little bit more into this backhand side to deal with that angle. Okay, so this serve is the ghost serve. It's an adaptation of the backspin serve. There are some slight differences that help give us a different effect on the table. A traditional backspin serve, we'd be looking to come down the back of the ball, and we're of course going to create backspin. Where the ghost serve is slightly different, is we're really looking to flatten this bat, and in some cases we may even exaggerate that even more. And we're looking to hit much more of the underneath part of the ball. And that's what's going to help create that exaggerated effect and that ball to shoot back towards us. So we need to make sure that the bat is open, but we're still having that forward element to it. Okay, it's that forward motion that's going to help keep the ball much lower. Okay, if you take the ball a little bit lower again, that's something else that's going to help keep the height down. So it's an effective serve because you're essentially playing around with the pace that it's delivered. There's not much pace in it because all your effort is underneath the ball. You've also got that exaggerated amount of spin, so often you'll find the first few receives might be in the net. Okay, generally the ghost serve is going to be quite short. So people have the opportunity to touch short or push long, but generally it's going to be a slightly defensive return.